Hey, it's the early hours of the 25th of February. I've just watched the two Fury Wilder fights. Great action. The second one, of course, has various uploads. But anyway, that's not really any relevance to this video. I commented on another post, I think it was about Amy Klobuchar, um, and I was making the point that if she uses the feminism card to win the Democratic nomination, it might backfire, it could be polarizing. And I made the point that when Obama ran for office in 2008, for this office, the racial factor was there, but I don't think he made it the central focus of his campaign. And I think that's why he won in a way that previous black candidates didn't. Although, of course, technically Obama was mixed race. But anyway, I was saying that if Klobuchar uses the feminism card, it could be polarizing. Actually, I want to see a moderate Democrat get the nomination, but that's probably for another video. Anyway, um, I got the charming response from one of her supporters that, oh, look, another white guy who wants to be the center of attention, who cannot stand the idea that a woman might be in charge. So this person, I checked her profile, older woman, white woman, incidentally. Is assuming that I've never voted for a woman. Well, I have. I didn't tell her I'm British, and that this country's had two female prime ministers, but I have voted for women because I thought they were the better candidate. I've sometimes voted for men as well. I've sometimes voted for women, but that's never a factor for me because, well, it just isn't. I don't look at a candidate and say, well, oh, I have to give him my vote because it's one for the boys, and I don't vote for a woman because I'm trying to virtue signal. I'll vote for a woman if I genuinely think being a good representative or her campaign policies are worth voting for, or I think should be a good representative, and I have voted for women. Um, I'm not really bothered by that. I think, someone like that, this was an older woman, a lot older than me, but clearly a lot more immature just by taking that sort of attitude. It just got me thinking, though, that this is identity politics. And this is where the left, this aspect of the left, I despise, quite honestly. Um, there just seems to be this go-to that if a white man takes opinion that's kind of not checking their boxes, by which I mean the identitarian left, and I don't mean the left in general here, um, then it's, oh, he's a white man. There's an immediate focus on the demographic. Now, I don't have the same life as Laurence Fox. He's an actor. I'm not. He's a Londoner. I'm from the north, well, Northern Ireland originally, but we've different backgrounds. But when he said basically that he wasn't going to apologize for being a white man, that's not verbatim, but that's the gist of what he was getting at. He was denounced by the likes of the Guardian. For what? For no other reason than saying he wasn't going to apologize for being a white man. It's very sad because what this does is it kind of puts people into these brackets like, oh, you're a white man, so you must have these opinions. I know of white men actually, um, who would actually share that opinion. They'd say, oh, we're white men, we have to. They'd really virtue signal and they would, to me, I don't understand that. The way I see it is you should never apologize for something that's beyond your control. I mean, if you're in a position of power, if you're a politician and you have the power to make legislation that can improve lives, that's a different matter. But in of itself, the idea that someone like me, that I should apologize for being white, or I should feel ashamed for being white and a straight man, it isn't going to happen. It just isn't. Because I sleep well at night knowing what my views are and knowing what my record is. By record, I mean I know for a fact that I have actively spoken out against abuse of women, homophobia, racism. I know I have. Um, and the thing is, I think it would be fine to sort of dismiss the regressive left and no to, and I am saying the left because I think it's much more domain of the left. I don't think the right plays it up as much. Although some of the criticism of Priti Patel right now, there are some conservatives claiming, oh, it's because she's an Asian woman. So they're actually on some level playing that game as well. But I will say this, the problem as I see it is not that these people kind of have that attitude, because it would be someone like me, I don't feel proud of it and I don't feel ashamed of it. It's just a fact. It's not something that I spend a great deal of time thinking about. But when you get that sort of attitude, when someone is telling you your opinion is less because, oh, you're a white man, so you're privileged, then it puts you on the defensive because the only other option is to grovel to their nonsense. And I refuse to do that. I'm not going to do it. So that's fine. But here's the problem. When you actually get coordinated campaigns, not just to attack people, but actually try to blacklist them. I mean, this isn't an exaggeration. After his appearance on Question Time, Laurence Fox actually, there were two members of Equity, the actors union, who tried to get him blacklisted essentially. Now, Equity distanced itself from their positions, their outrageous positions, but that shows the powers that are at play. And I still believe that any white straight actor in Hollywood who goes away from the line will find themselves absolutely vilified. So that's probably one reason why you get a lot of white straight actors in Hollywood that do toe the line to a large extent. And I'm not saying that isn't their conviction, maybe it is, but I honestly think if you had an actor, a white male actor, who said, well, look, Um, I'm against abuse of women. I'm against homophobia. But I'm not going to apologise for being a white man. If he came out with that position, he would be attacked because oh, he's in denial, or he's downplaying these things, or he's a privileged white man. You could just hear the chorus that would come after him. Um, I'm not going to say that white men are persecuted. I think that would be hyperbole. I don't believe that's the case. So, just for the record, I'm not saying that. What I am saying, though, is that no other group gets targeted in the same way as straight white men in terms of, basically all three things are seen as points of privilege. You're straight, you're white, and you're male. A black man might have it for being a man, but he's still a minority. A gay man might have it for being a man, but he's gay. So a straight white man really has everything thrown at him. And that's not to say he's a victim. I don't believe I'm a victim for a second. But it does frustrate me that you have people out there who honestly think that it's a legitimate point of attack. I mean, if I said to someone, oh, well, you're a lesbian woman, so therefore your opinion's less, I would be totally denounced, and rightly so. In the end of the day, you have to stick to arguments. You have to stick to, if you think someone's full of it, okay, debate them, debate their arguments. But that's why that professor, whatever she was, that attacked Lauren Fox is so dead wrong. Because her attack point was immediately, you're a white man, you don't know. And it's this mentality that of lumping all white men together. I mean, Laurence Fox is from quite a well-off background. But his story is totally different from some white homeless guy. That's what I despise about this. It's lumping an entire group of people as one and the same. It's frankly abhorrent. It's no different from any other sort of generalization. But people who do it get a green light to do it because, well, they're a minority or they're a woman. So, oh, I'm a woman, I'm a victim. They play up the victimhood narrative to extremes. expect criticism of themselves. And I tell you something, if that woman who was criticizing Laurence Fox, if she got criticized online, then of course she'll play the victim and she'll say his trolls are harassing her. Because these people can give, but they can't take. It's pathetic. Um, so what I would say is, I apologize to no one. I bow down to no one. It doesn't mean I'm proud. It doesn't mean that I think white pride is ridiculous. I'm not proud of being white, but I'm not ashamed of it either. It just is. Okay? So if people attack me for that reason, and this doesn't happen all the time, but it's a factor. If it happens, that's my attitude. Yeah. Come up with an argument, actually debate things I'm saying. Because I find people with this mentality, it doesn't matter what you say. This is actually the crux of the problem. You can agree with them. This is why I think guys who virtue signal are being a bit naive, because they can agree with such people, who are pushing this sort of ideology. They can agree with them and they'll still be seen as the enemy. Because basically, unless you slavishly agree 100%, then you're not on team. So it's really a very intolerant attitude. And I do see this discourse, it's rampant in the Western world right now, and it is really, all it does is polarize people. People jump to conclusions about you. So if I was an American, they'd be thinking that I'm some sort of Trump supporting Second Amendment type guy. Um, but people are individuals, and the way I see it, I judge people as individuals. If I find someone obnoxious, it will be because I find them obnoxious, not because they're a woman, not because they're black, not because they're Asian, whatever. It's them. If I admire someone, if I respect them, if I think they're a likable, amicable, open-minded person, again, that's an individual thing. But I despise this thing of jumping into someone's demographic, and it is uniquely aimed at white men. It is. I'm sorry, but that is a fact. It is uniquely aimed at white men. Okay, feminists might get criticized, but that's because of the misandric positions they're taking. It's, because of the sort of divisive statements they're coming out with, because of their constant male bashing. It's not because they want equality for women. Okay, in some circumstances that might be the issue, but if you're going to go around constantly trying to shame men and coming out with that nonsense, then don't be surprised that men fight back. Okay, it would take a pretty weak, insecure man to just pander to that sort of idea, to pander to that sort of rhetoric. That isn't being noble, that isn't being an egalitarian. That's just being a useful idiot, quite frankly. Okay, that's my thoughts. Thanks for watching.